Good evening, folks. Yes, I'm sorry. It's been a really busy day around here. And despite the fact that I'm sick, moms don't get a day off. You know what I'm saying? All right, so, that is an awful lot of glare off of that window. I'm sorry. Much better. So I was going through Brendan Dassey's May 13th statement, and I came up with a few more things that I wanted to discuss with y'all. This is where it really starts to get fucked up. At about page 35 is when it really starts to go, what the fuck? Don't mind them. It's almost bedtime, so they're like running out the last of their energy. I'm going to let them. Brendan had told Uyghur that Blaine's boss called and that Brendan answered the phone. And Uyghur tells him, that's a lie. I know that's a lie because we looked at all of your phone records and that call isn't on there anywhere. Folks, Blaine's boss corroborated this story when they went to Blaine's boss's house to get Blaine's statement. He flat out stated, yes, I called that day and I spoke to Brendan. Uyghur, you slime. See, now, folks, to a degree, officers are allowed to lie to suspects in order to get information out of them. But when you already have a piece of information that says, no, that didn't happen and I can confirm it, you can't lie. Or at least in the police departments that I have been to, you can't lie. I don't know how protocol works up in Wisconsin. I'm starting to wonder. Pardon me. He then says, I've got a file big as this room, 3 of them, full of information on this case. Brendan is 16 years old. He's got the IQ of a 3rd grader. Of course he's going to believe them. He's going to think, shit, they've got all this evidence. Even if I tell them that I didn't do shit, they're still going to figure out a way to fucking put my ass in jail. They're the cops. All I can think is this poor boy must have been sitting there thinking, not this shit again. At least I would have been thinking that. Then Uyghur proceeds to tell him Steve is going to tell his version of the story. And his version is going to be Brendan did this. And basically Brendan did this. Brendan did all of this. It was all Brendan. And then Uyghur tells him he doesn't want to go back to prison. He doesn't give a shit about you. Folks, let me reiterate this. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We know Brendan's father was not in the picture, at least not very much. He himself has admitted this. Brendan's stepfather clearly didn't like him. Brendan's soon-to-be stepfather clearly did not give a fuck about him. Obviously, Scott. So Steve was really the only male role model that Brendan had. And to hear the words, Steven doesn't give a shit about you, that had to tear out that poor boy's heart. Oh my God, Uyghur! You are a fucking pathetic excuse of a human being. How the fuck does your wife let you stick that slimy dick in her, knowing what you've done? Hopefully she's divorced your ass by now. I'm just saying. If she hasn't yet, she will soon. So then Brendan starts to tell them what they want to hear. By this time, his story is that he was at Stephen Avery's house at 4, not 8:30 as was originally stated by Brendan. That he went to Stephen Avery's house at 4, and Uyghur and Fossbender get him to tell them that he planned it with Stephen, that they planned this 3 days in advance. Uyghur and that Brendan stated, because they asked him, well, why did Steve want to do this? And he said, Stephen wants to go back to jail. Stephen Avery doesn't want to fucking go back to jail. I mean, I can understand, being institutionalized to the point where you want to stay in jail or committing another crime shortly after getting out to go back into jail because that's what you're used to. But Stephen Avery had gone about 2 years being outside of prison, so that doesn't really make much sense there, folks. Fassbender then they're accusing Brendan of lying again. Fassbender then tells him, we only want you to tell us the facts, Brendan. Do you know what a fact is? Brendan tells him, sort of. The kid doesn't even know what a fact is, and you expect what comes out of his mouth to be believed as the truth? The fuck is wrong with you two? My God. Somebody get their trainers on the phone because I've got a few choice words for them. Wiegert then says one of his infamous lines of, if I walk out of here, I'm not coming back. See, again, folks, this is them doing the whole puppy dog thing with Brendan. Come on, Brendan. Come on. If you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to leave and I'm not coming back. Brendan at this point must be looking for anybody who's going to fucking help him. And these two seem, he knows them by now. He knows that they haven't kept to their promises, but he knows them. Wiegert then asks Brendan, why did Stephen pick Teresa? Brendan replied, mind you, Brendan has stated that they planned this a few days in advance. And Wiegert asks him, why did he pick Teresa? And Brendan's reply is, because she was coming over that day. He didn't fucking know that. He didn't know that she was going to be coming over on Halloween. For fuck's sake, people, he didn't make the call until the morning of Halloween. And the woman at Auto Trader told him, I don't know if she's going to be able to come out today or if it's going to have to be, it's going to have to wait until Monday. How can anybody buy this horse shit? My God. They then ask why Stephen wanted to kill anybody, and Brendan says that Stephen was pissed that Jody was in jail, so he was going to kill Teresa. How the fuck do those two things even relate, folks? Jody was in jail by her own stupidity. I'm having a hard time finding the dots to connect on that one. Oh, and my favorite part is where Wiegert and Fassbender concoct this bullshit to have Brendan say to explain why Barb saw him at home at 5. Ladies, and their explanation that Brendan then spewed back at them was that Stephen Avery told him after he's already raped Teresa, apparently, to go home so that he would be home when Barb got there and then come back after she left. What the fuck is wrong with you? Folks, that narrative makes absolutely no fucking sense. And not to mention that after Barb got back from the hospital with Scott, she stayed for the rest of the day. Good Lord. Give me 1 second. Yes, I have trained. It carries a lot farther than yelling out their names. What can I say? Bedtime can be a real pain in the bum, and it's not quite there yet. But anyways, folks, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it gets even worse from here on out. I'm having a hard time plowing through this, so my next video is going to be on something that is not Brendan Dassey's May 13th statement. Thank you all very much for watching. Now, for those of you that are in the UK, on April 2nd, I believe April 2nd, yeah. On April 2nd, there is going to be a protest at the U.S. Embassy in London for free Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey, and that'll be at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon It will be at the Parliament building. I will put the link to that in the description below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.